What's going down, everybody? Y'all know who this is. It's your boy, Vegas's finest, your favorite podcaster, your favorite space bucket grower, your boy, it's Drewski. And welcome to another edition of Space Bucket Growing with Drewski. So what's going down, everybody? If y'all heard last night's episode, I told you about how I experimented in super cropping and how that was a drastic failure. And how I panicked like a mug and, took the top off because I kind of went a little heavy-handed when I tried the super cropping method, which is the, squeezing the main cola until it's nice and kind of rubbery and like mush almost, or you don't break the outside of the skin of your cannabis plant, and then you just kind of let it bend over and then let it heal on its own, and then let everything else grow from that end, and let your light hit where, the light needed to hit on the underside growth of your cannabis plant, and then, you're supposed to let everything happen. What happened to me was I was squeezing on that thing, and my thumb went and popped that thing right off there just like that, and it was hanging and dangling by a thread, so I just went and clipped it off and set that over as a clone. So I'm just waiting for the roots to pop out on that thing right there. As y'all hear, we get notifications on the rip all the time. But that's that, you guys. So right now, if you guys have been following What Are We Doing _podcast on Instagram, shout out to everybody listening right now, too, if you actually tuned in live with us. You know what I'm saying? You guys can always chime in and see what we got going. We ain't got nobody in the room right now, but I'm going to still record. So, our sponsor, who you can find on Etsy, if you get that Rain Man, Space Bucket Micro Grow, follow them on Instagram at mostlysafe8. That's mostly safe and the number 8, all one word. You can see how their builds are, and then how their grows are progressing, and how they've inspired me to do something a little bit different with my build. So, like I told you guys a couple episodes ago on the foil tape build, that's where I got that idea from, using foil tape instead of using Mylar or something else. That's just a perfectly sticky material. Nice reflection on it once you get it in with your CFL light panels. And that works really, really well, actually. In bucket 1.0, we've got, 2 spacers lined with foil. And the light reflection on that's actually pretty decent. I like it better than what I was using, which was fake Mylar, or what you get in that in your first aid kits. I use that heat shield reflective material in my bucket, and I was noticing that it wasn't even, light wasn't getting distributed the right way. There was a lot of tape, so there was a lot of blocking of light as well, because if y'all saw the early build, I was using a lot of that blue painter's tape, just because I knew I was going to be revamping the bucket that I was building on a constant basis. And I took all that out, and I went down to our local Dollar General and picked up 2 rolls of foil tape and went ham. Lined up my spacers, and then just went to town and laid those right back into the initial bucket. So bucket 2.0/2.5 is currently in work right now. We've got one plant that's growing, and we doing what we need to do. right now. No nutrients, just water, soil, light. Trying to do it as natural as possible, just like the earth do it. You know what I'm saying? It's a plant that came from the earth, and I think that we should really try to nurture it as natural as possible. So my first one is going to be like a really, really natural grow. We got a month in. Looks like we're doing pretty good. Nothing else has died off, fortunately enough, which is pretty dope. And we've got a whole lot of new growth popping up right now. Since the cropping incident happened, it seems that cannabis plants seem to heal and spread the nutrients that are in the soil and which are stored within the other leaves throughout itself. Pretty self-sufficient and pretty natural. So I've already seen new growth starting to like peek out. It looks like a few things are going to develop in a different way here on this plant, and I'll keep you guys updated like I always do. If you're following us on Instagram at whatarewedoing_podcast, please follow us. Also, please follow our sponsor at Mostly Safe 8. Also follow our other sponsor who has supplied buckets for Bucket 3.0. That's Lotus Eater Organics. The good folks at Lotus Eater Organics have supplied 5 nice white buckets. And if you've seen on Instagram, we've already got fans marked up. We've got the cut here marks for the spacers on 2 of the buckets that we have. And we're about to get in on that. I was on eBay yesterday. And did some shopping. So we got 50-50, 5-1 ratio, 5 red, 1 blue ratio grow lights coming for Bucket 3.0. We also have a lot more foil tape coming in the industrial size roll. And we also have 3-gallon smart pots that we'll be incorporating into our grow as well. Next shopping point is going to be soil. Yeah, for right now, just soil. We got donor seeds on waiting just to get vegged up. I'm waiting until everything gets here and I can actually like start building the bucket to get everything going. Just so, you know, I don't have seeds and veg and sitting there in little solo cups overgrowing themselves while I'm waiting on everything else to get here. I'm going to do it straight from seed on the grow that I'm going to start here in the next month as well. Speaking about the next month, I'm giving myself 22 days to keep this bucket 2.5 in veg. After the super cropping incident, I want it to heal and grow. Sorry about that, y'all. This is real life, and we record anywhere we want to. Cars passing by, don't bother us none. But as for Bucket 3.0, like I said, we're going to wait to at least get the donor seeds germed, just because I want to actually get the bucket built. I want to build it the way I want to build it right the first time. And so I'm going to make sure everything is set and ready to go on that end. I'm trying to figure out how to do the LED lights inside the spacer. I've got a tip to use 2 spacers instead of using just one for better light distribution, so it's not all clumped up in there. Because I ordered 2 meters, which is 6 feet of LED, and that wrapped up in a space bucket. I think it's going to be pretty dope. It's going to be a lot of light in there, which should help in the growing phase. So we're going to see what happens. We also got a UFO on the way from the sponsor. It's 135 watts. It's got some hours logged on it already. And I'm here to set the record straight on that 135 watt UFO, and I'm going to break her. I'm going to break her like a bad bitch. So I'm going to put it through its paces. Light schedule from seed is going to go 18.6, and then, flip the flower 12.12, but it's going to be an all LED grow. So I can't wait to see how that pans out, and see what we got going there. So the initial stages of Bucket 3.0 are like this. So what we're going to do, if you're following along, I'm taking one of my 5-gallon buckets, and right below the very top notch down until that red line around my bucket, if you've seen it on Instagram, there's a little bit of gappage, but from that top notch all the way down and around, there's going to be a little fan on one side. There's going to be 2 fans installed on this bucket. I've got the placement on that very high on the bucket. And I'm thinking about replanting that for spacers sake, just because the way the spacer is going to have to sit, I'm either going to have to cut a notch, which I might just cut the notch out for the fan, for the initial spacer for the LEDs. And that way it kind of gives it a nice little lock in there too, and it won't move around so much. But I've figured with the way I've got bucket 2.0/0.5 going, on 5-gallon buckets, you've got those 4 notches. You got the one where the lid sits, and you got those 3 notch lines under that where the handle is. Right under where the handle is on the one bucket, I have the fan, and I've got soil filled all the way to that point, and that's where our cannabis is growing there. On this next bucket, what I'm going to do is going to place the fan higher, insert the 3-gallon Smart Pot inside, and then lock it in with a spacer and then a lid. For right now, I'm not going to be turning on the side LEDs until we've got about at least 2, maybe 3 weeks worth of veg growth. And on this one, I'm also going to perfect low stress training. So very, very young in the seedling stage, I'm going to use those plant twist ties, because they're rounded off and they won't cut into the plant. And I'm going to use those to bend our seedling so that way it actually grows kind of to the side, and we can use the efficiency of the LED lighting and how the bucket's going to be built with that grow. We're just going to see what happens on that end. So that's bucket 3.0, kind of the initial build. What we're also going to do, like I said, we're going to line the spacers with foil tape once it gets in. And then we will line the spacers with LEDs locked in with zip ties. Another idea I got from our sponsor. Just to lock everything in. I can see how efficient that is, and how, 3M tape and the heat inside those buckets kind of might not be so trusting, if I might say so. So, LEDs and the UFO LED would tend to get hot. I can already see inside there it's going to get a little warm. And so with the placement of the fans, the UFO has its own fan as well. And we should keep it nice and cool in there, because heat stress can be a problem to your cannabis plants, as we've seen on mine. It can happen real fast, and it can happen really, really quick. So keeping that in mind, That's why also, if you've been following us on Instagram, I opted for bigger fans because there's two kind of sizes on PC fans. I got one that's a little bit bigger from, Mama Drewski. I got 6 of those, so I've got enough to build a couple of buckets and make something happen. You know what I mean? Just waiting to see how that goes. So I'll keep you guys updated. Tomorrow will probably be another podcast about the grow on 2.5. If things permit, I might even do a shopping episode with y'all just to let y'all know like the shopping list of what to do or what to get, things you can appropriate from other people, friends, family, neighbors, companies that are going to be throwing items out. Don't be afraid to ask and use all your resources. Space Bucket Growing can be really, really knowledgeable if you take the time, sit down, and read first. Go to spacebuckets.com. You can you use the do-it-yourself planner. It's a little 3D template joint to where you can actually plan out your whole build, the materials you're going to use, lighting, what it's going to do. It'll tell you all of that on spacebuckets.com. And then if you're reading about cannabis growing, I suggest go to growweedeasy.com and also get on the Google Plus forum for Grow Weed Easy. You'll see me on there, Andrew D. Hatcher Jr., a.k.a. the Noob Grower, a.k.a. the Bag Seat Grower, a.k.a. the Prayer Method Grower. I got a lot of aliases, but, I was telling everybody on the forum that this is my first grow. I am very, very new to this subject of growing and gardening, and I wanted to get help and opinions, and I also wanted to see, if I was doing anything wrong. I like the advice. I like constructive criticism on that end because it's not criticism. It's going to help my yield at the end of the day. It's going to help my grow process at the end of the day. So any criticism on how I'm growing, how I should grow, make sure it's positive. There are few people on there that talk shifty, but at the same time, I think they expect you to have this knowledge about growing cannabis, and sometimes it's not always the truth. That's not always the case. A lot of people have read, but then from reading something to applying that knowledge, there's still gaps in the information about how you're going to see things happen. And so the internet isn't that reliable when it tells you like exact things to do. Never listen to like when people say like exactly do this unless we're telling you about how to like build a space bucket. Because you can go a simple template and then you can go all out and do anything that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You can do hydro grows in space buckets. You can do soil grows in space buckets. And you don't necessarily always have to grow cannabis in your space bucket. You can have a space bucket growing cannabis, and then you can have another space bucket growing red peppers, and you have another space bucket growing potatoes. You can go all out with these things, which is pretty dope, all from the convenience of your house indoors. So, just watch out for your power bill. Make sure you ain't doing nothing outrageous. It shouldn't raise it up that much. It's only a few bucks a month extra on your power bill because you are running lights at some of the most inopportune times, and sometimes you're not. Maybe if you go in your state that power surges are more during the day than they are at night, you might want to do your grow at night so you just save some money. But you can always join in on the fun. I encourage it. I want you guys to send me pics through Instagram. You can also click on the link on the Instagram and send me an email. I want to see what you guys are doing out there on these space buckets. I know me and my sponsor can't be the only ones growing indoors. And so I really want to see what's going on out there in the world because I want to be inspired a little bit more on my builds. And I want to see what's going on instead of just reading it on the internet. I want to see you guys' live applications. So, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at whatarewedoing_podcast. Also follow the brand. Please follow the brand at Elevated Lifestyle LV. That's what started all of this. Me and my boy Stacks510 on Instagram, we started this because we live a different lifestyle than most people. We don't just sit and, medicate for no reason. Myself, I'm a high anxiety. I got really bad moods and things like that. And cannabis really, really does help me out. I like a good sativa during the day, and I like a great indica at nighttime. Right now, it looks like I got a fat indica plant on my hand because these leaves are fat. They're not narrow and skinny. I got some nice filled out fan leaves coming up on there. So we're just going to see what happens. But, once again, y'all, please follow my sponsor at Mostly Safe 8. Check out Spaceman. I said Spaceman. Check out Rain Man. Space Bucket Micro Grows on Etsy. Follow them on Instagram at Mostly Safe 8. That's the number 8 at the end of Mostly Safe. All one word, no underscores, no periods. Follow my boy Stacks510 on Instagram as well. And follow our other sponsor at Lotus Eater Organics. It's Lotus Eater Organics. Please follow them. I know this episode was a little long. We're running on like 22 minutes. But thank you so very much for listening, everybody. Tune in tomorrow sometime because I'm going to record one, but I won't announce that it's going live. I'm just going to record it and then post one up just to show you guys how the grow is going and everything like that. But please follow us on Instagram and make sure everything's going on that way. Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow. Probably the same time because I probably will record live. Who knows? Holla at y'all one time.